Hi! Welcome back to our creative videos. My name is Loretta Hayes and I am from Hayes Sewing Machine Company in Wilmington, Delaware. And today what we're going to do is we're going to make a quick bag from this awesome bag panel.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
It is done by Northcott and it is a tote bag with handles and a little pocket. So just really gorgeous. And what's really cool, I don't know if you can see it, Pam, when you put it in the camera, but instead of being printed on cotton, it's printed on like a lightweight duck cloth.
Cool.
So it has a little bit more body to it. So step number one for this panel is to cut the panel out. So you can do that with a rotary cutter, with your scissors, or whatnot. Then once you're cut out, you're going to start out with your pocket. So we need to finish off the edge of the pocket. I'm going to be doing part of my bag with the serger and part of my bag with the sewing machine. Now, if you don't own a serger, totally not a problem. You could just do it like a seam and then go back over the edges with a zigzag or some sort of overcasting stitch on your machine. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to just go ahead. Pam, you don't need to swing around for this point here. We're going to take it, trying to juggle a serger and a sewing machine on the same table here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish off the edge of the pocket. Now, once that's done, we want to take it and we want to fold over our seams. And one of the things that I like to do with a pocket is just do a quick little straight stitch. I'm going to flip the edge over about, say, 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to come in and I am going to set up my foot. There we go. Sorry about that. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew about 1/4 inch in from the edge. We're going to stitch a little stitch on that hem. So I've got it right sides together.
How much did you flip down on the hem?
If we put a ruler to it, maybe 3/4 inch,
Got it.
1/2. It actually does say on the directions, and you'll have little printed directions on what to do. So, you know, look at how small the directions are. Oh, down.
There you go.
Okay. So super simple bag to do. All right, so we're going to have this done. So I have flipped over the edges and I'm going to just do a little bit of cleanup and trim up my tails. And then I'm going to take the hem and I'm going to flip it so that the inside, the pretty side is now showing and that hem is now to the inside of the pocket. So poke out your corners and we're going to head over to the ironing board and we're going to do this pocket and we're going to also do the handle so that you don't have to come back to the ironing board, Pam. All right. So we're going to come in. We're going to take our pocket. We've got the top of it nicely done. We're going to flip in about 1/4 inch all the way around the edge of the pocket. So we'll come in and catch that. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. And on our last side. And then I'm going to go ahead and press the top so I have a nice clean edge to do. And if you want to, you could flip the pocket over and just give it a quick press from the top side. So our pocket is ready to be top stitched onto our bag. We're then going to take it and we're going to do our handles. And so for our handles, we're going to take and press the handle in half with the pretty side facing out. And this is something I do for most of my handles for tote bags. Rather than trying to flip a tube, which sometimes with a heavier fabric can be a little bit more difficult to do. So we'll go ahead and we'll press that in. And then we're going to open it up and we're going to take this raw edge and we're going to line up the raw edge on the fold that we've just created. So we'll come in and we'll iron all the way down the edge there. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. So the raw edge into that center crease. And what you'll end up with on this particular panel, for the size handles that they've printed, is you'll have a handle that's about 3/4 of an inch. And we'll just do one final press with those raw edges inside. If I need to make any adjustments, what I'm looking for is when this folds over, I want both of my folds to be lined up. So if I need to make any adjustments at this point, I could do it very easily right here at the ironing board. So we just go ahead and line up. And so we have our handle.
Cool.
All right, so I've already done one. So we'll come back over here. And let's top stitch on our handles first. So we'll take it, we'll have our handles flipped over, and we're going to just stitch down along the edge. So oftentimes if I'm doing top stitching, I might lengthen out my stitch a little bit. So I was at 2.5, so I might go ahead and bop it to 3. And you can use the edge of your presser foot as a guide. You could change and put an edge stitching foot on that has a physical guide. All of those will work. The goal here is to be relatively straight. I'm pretty sure no one's going to be looking at your handle and critiquing your top stitching. So we'll come down. And we're just stitching those 2 folds together. So we come to the bottom and we have our handle. Now, if you would like to make it a little more symmetrical, even though we don't really need the top stitching to hold anything together, if you run down on the other side, then my handle's a little bit more symmetrical. So I like that look, so we'll go ahead and do the same thing on our second handle. And I always do the loose edges first. That way I can make any adjustments if I feel I need to. And then we'll go back and we'll finish it off with the decorative top stitch on the other side. All right. So the next thing, we're going to set our handles aside for a second. The next thing that we need to do is we need to decide where we want our pocket. The pocket is going to be, well, I suppose the pocket doesn't have to be on the inside, but that's where it was recommended in the directions. And so we're going to place our pocket. I'm going to put it kind of maybe a little bit more at the top. Okay, and we'll just kind of eyeball it into that center bit there. We're going to go ahead and stitch the same kind of top stitch, nothing different. I am going to do a little reverse at the top just to kind of anchor that pocket down. So when I throw my keys in it, I'm not going to have to mend my pocket. And so we'll come in, pivot around. The only thing that you need to be aware of with your pocket is you really want the top of your pocket to be facing towards the head of the peacock.
Oh. Well, if not, it's just a patch.
Then it's just a patch, yes.
Not a
It's kind
pocket.
of cute. It has a little tag on it that says this bag belongs to. So if you're doing it for like a retreat or that kind of thing, you might take a labeling marker and just do a little labeling marker there so everybody knows where your bag is. So we'll come in, just do a little reverse here, and tack it off. All right, so we have our pocket on the inside of our bag.
Yay.
All right, so now we're going to shift over, and I'm going to go ahead and start working with the serger. So for the serger, and can you see it, Pam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so what we need to do is we need to join our two side seams. So we're going to line up. And I'm not trimming a ton off. I'm just kind of lining up the edges, maybe cleaning up. I did actually cut this bag out with a pair of scissors. So, you know, when you're cutting with scissors, sometimes you have those little blurbs. So you can straighten those up as you're running down with the serger. So we'll sew that.
And how many threads are you working with?
Oh, good question. I'm working with 4 because 4 will give me 2 seams and an overcast. So by having 2 seams, you can throw anything in your bag. It could be your sewing retreat bag, it could be your library bag, and it's not going to break down. All right, so now we're really starting to look like we have a bag. So the next thing we need to do, before we get all excited and start flipping it over, what we need to do is give our bag a corner.
To give depth.
To give depth. So if you're going to put books in it, the bag will have a little bit of a bottom. So we're going to fold that, and let me actually flip the bag over for just a second so you can kind of see where we're going with this. You'll see that on the bottom of the printing, okay, they have printed the bottom of the bag.
Oh, nice.
So when we're doing this, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be folding it over. It'll be right sides together, so you won't be able to see this, but we'll be folding it, and we're going to be lining up and sewing from that edge to that edge so that that becomes the bottom of our bag.
Nicely done. And it's printed that way.
It's printed that way, yes.
Nice.
So you don't have to really do measurements or anything like that. So what's nice is I can kind of see that bottom of the bag through my fabric. So I'm going to line it up. I'm folding it so that that seam is running right down the center. And then I'm going to line up on the serger. And I'm basically just going to cut along that printed line. So we'll do that on one side, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And in a perfect world, your pieces will be the same size.
Well done.
Which is good. All right, so we now have the pocket on. We've got the sides done. We've shaped our bottom. So now what we need to do is we need to take care of the top. Now in the directions, and actually printed right on the bag, they have 2 little marks for folding. going
Oh,
along
got
right
it.
there. So we're going to go ahead and not reinvent the wheel. And we're going to fold our first fold, which is about the same size as our handles are. And we're going to press that all the way around. And then I'm going to flip that over and I'm going to press it again. So I'm going to have a double fold. So I'm going to have a finished edge. Now, if I wasn't following the directions, and I wasn't doing this video, I would have probably just serged the edge and then folded it over the one time. So that's another option for you as well. So back to the ironing board we go. We're going to take it. I was going to put it on the end of the ironing board, but I can't really reach there. So we'll give it a quick press. Trim up our tails at the same time. Okay, now when we have the first one done, the second one's even easier because we're just going to fold on that raw edge line. And around we go again. And I love that they're doing these bag panels. This is the second one we've had in the store. The first one, maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, might be a little longer than that. And it was so popular, it sold out incredibly quickly on there. So it's nice to see that they've come back with another one, just a different pattern. All right, so we are now kind of getting ready to go here. The one thing that we need to do is we need to insert our handles. So we're going to come in and we're going to do our handles. And our handles, I'm going to fold the bag in half just to kind of center up. And Pam, could you grab me a couple of clips? All right, so we're going to place our handles underneath the hem, and we're going to do a little clip to hold that. Now, before I get going too far, I want to check my handle to make sure it's not twisted. And the easiest way of doing that is to take your finger on the inside, and you should be able to travel all the way around and end up on the inside. If you're traveling around and you end up on the outside, then you are twisted. All right, so we've got that one in. Then probably the most important thing at this point is that once we have that one done, we would really like the other one to match it up. So we're going to come in and we're going to take and put that one in there. Get rid of my threads. And we'll put a little clip in there. And then do the same on the other side. All right, so let's check it out. We go around the inside, we land on the inside. Woohoo! Life is good. All right, so now we are ready to top stitch the top of this bag. And that's going to attach the handles in at the same time. Bam, I'm going to get rid of the serger because I don't need that anymore. All right. So we're going to come in. I'm going to flip this little guy the other way around. So we get like a nice little preview of what the bag's going to look like. And I always like to start on a side seam because it's the least conspicuous. So once again, I'm going to do that top stitching length. But this time I'm going to run my edge, my folded edge along the inside of the left toe of my foot instead of the right toe. And so off we go. We'll stitch right through our handle. And when I take the clip off, all I'm really paying attention to is I want that handle to be like a perfect 90 degrees straight out from the edge. We don't want it to look like, you know, it's in a wind tunnel. Do a little back tack. And we are all set. So we'll need to do a little bit of trimming. But there's the bottom of our bag. And then we can pull out our handles.
Do you stitch the handles so they'll be up?
You could. It isn't necessary. But if you wanted, particularly if you're going to carry books, I think what I would do is come in. And they show in the directions doing like a little box with a little X in it, to kind of, you know, double anchor the handles. And we'll go ahead and finish that up, but let's show you this. Do you want to swing around the front? It is such a cool panel. Super, super cool.
That's lovely. Love
Isn't
the
that
peacock.
lovely? Awesome. So I hope you enjoyed. Okay, I'm going to get the camera sorted around. I hope you enjoyed this project, and we'll see you next time.